goes apeshit on them. So there is difficulties when it came to the French Revolution. There is difficulties. The French Revolutionary Wars are going to last at least 10 years. And Napoleon, that's a fucking curveball right there. So 1789, abolished feudalism. 1789, got state control over the Catholic Church. 1789, declared the rights of man. 1789 said that the Estates General gets to be the National Assembly. And they chopped off the fucking heads of the king and queen. After France declares their independence, after France starts to become, their own nation, in order to save the nation, you got to chop off the head of the king, right? The king needed to die in order to save the nation. Well, they're going to have to fight against Great Britain. They're going to have to fight against Austria. They're going to have to fight against Prussia and Russia. Well, that's not fucking fair. That's some bullshit. Let France do France. If France could have just fought the revolution by themselves like America did, right? Just in our nice little comfortable, we got the Atlantic Ocean, the Pacific Ocean. So we were just kind of fighting, our oppressors, and there wasn't anybody else that we had to worry about. And then what happens in France? You first had the War of the First Coalition, and then the War of the Second Coalition. And that's, when Napoleon invaded Egypt, and he kind of fucked up the revolution when he invaded Egypt. But let's go to the War of the First Coalition. Well, revolutionary France was kicking ass. Revolutionary France took the Netherlands, they took the Rhineland, they even took Italy, they conquered the Habsburgs. The Jacobins are going to rise to power after some of the military defeats. So while you have France being revolutionary, fighting against their wealthy and they're powerful, and then you had all these other fucking countries with kings and queens sending armies into France. They had to fight all these other countries. Well, think about the culture that was happening in France at the time. You better be loyal to the revolutionaries. You better be loyal to the Republic. You better be loyal to the rights of man. Because if you're not loyal to the rights of man, well, then you'll just deflect to Austria and get us fucking overthrown. And so then there was the Reign of Terror, right? And even Robespierre is going to die by the Reign of Terror. But isn't that a revolution, right? The revolution, what, they ate their own children? The revolution. He had the Reign of Terror, he did the Reign of Terror, but then the Reign of Terror got Robespierre. So don't say that the Reign of Terror was any fucking thing, because the Reign of Terror came back to bite them in the ass. But the only reason that the Jacobins rose to power to begin with was because you had Great Britain and King George III, and you had Austria, Francis, Frederick William II, Alexander. You had Prussia, Austria, Russia, Great Britain all fucking invading. So they had to fight against all these. When they were winning, everybody thought that they were great, but then they started losing some military defeats. So when they started losing some military, conflicts, then it was time to tighten your fucking belts. Now, time to get fucking serious about this shit. Which side are you on, boy? Which side are you on, boy? Which side are you on? Which side are you on, boy? Which side are you on? They say in Harlan County, there are no neutrals there. You can either be a gun thug, you can either be a Union man, or a gun thug for J.H. Blair. Which side are you on, boy? The revolution, the French Revolution, is going to end in 1799 when Napoleon steals power by a coup d'etat. Where have we heard that? Fidel Castro tried to do a coup and then became the leader of goddamn Cuba. Hitler did a coup d'etat, became the leader of fucking Germany. And then Napoleon, he did a coup d'etat, right? He went ahead and goddamn fleeced those French revolutionaries. The French revolutionaries, which didn't have America's revolutionary support. So we're considering, did the French Revolution lose? The French Revolution, you think the French Revolution lost? Because I don't think that the French Revolution lost. They got presidents today. They've had presidents for the past, 25 times. They've had 25 presidents. They got a constitution. I don't know how good their fucking Bill of Rights and the rule of law and shit is, but they are electing presidents. They don't have a king or queen today. Sure, France flirted with kings again. They flirted with kings during the Bourbon dynasty, then the Citizen King, and then Napoleon III. That motherfucker came up to power. But they consider him not only the first emperor and the new king, but he was the first president too. So what the fuck is that all about? France doesn't have any kings or queens today, and Napoleon was elected. Napoleon was elected. That changed France forever. The only way Napoleon was going to get to become the leader of France is if he got elected. If he didn't get elected, he didn't have the consent of the governed. So at the very least, Even the dictator who stole power needed the illusion of the consent of the governed. Well, where do we hear that kind of rhetoric from? Napoleon III, he reestablished voting. That's how he got his fucking power, because the legislature abolished it. So what the fuck is the legislature doing abolishing the right to vote? That's going to help kings and queens. So you want to say the French Revolution lost? I call bullshit on you. The French Revolution did not lose. Today you got presidents. They got a constitution in France. And Napoleon was elected. Which goddamn king or queen in France was elected? Was Louis XIV? Was he elected? What about Louis XV? Was he elected? What about Louis XVI? What about that Marie Antoinette? Were any of these fucking assholes elected? No. Napoleon came out of the Revolutionary Wars. He was in Italy, conquering Italy, right? He helped, destroy the Habsburgs. So when it was war against the First Coalition, he was actually very much a French revolutionary hero. So he's going to kind of turn his back on the revolution, but he was a creature of the revolution. So in a way, the revolution ate some of its babies, but the other babies, they put into power. So you could say Napoleon ended the revolution, or you could say he was a continuation of the revolution. However you want to say it, he was elected. And the kings and queens before Napoleon were not elected. They were not elected. So Napoleon being elected changed France forever. And the kings and queens today, when they chopped the head off of Louis XVI and Marie Antoinette, that gave royalism, it died a magnificent death. It died a magnificent death. So I call bullshit. The French Revolution had a bunch of difficulties that the American Revolution didn't have to deal with. America didn't have to fight against, England and Russia and Prussia and Austria and Britain at the same time. They didn't have 4 fucking goddamn empires to fight against. They just fought against one. And then one of the empires, the French Revolution, the French Empire, helped America out. And the other difficulty was they didn't have America's support. They were inspired by the American Revolution, and then they said, hey, America, we're doing this revolution, and America's like, so? But we're doing the same revolution that you did. We don't care. Thomas Jefferson resigned because of that shit. The Jay Treaty. George Washington is going to support England, and then that means, 15 years later, England's going to burn down our fucking White House. So we had to suck fucking daddy's dick and kept sucking daddy's dick until they burned down our fucking White House. Instead of supporting the goddamn revolutionary brother and friend and equal. Instead of supporting the French revolutionaries, we turned our back to them. Even with us turning our back on them, even with the French revolutionaries having to go up against Russia and Prussia, Great Britain, King George III, America, they were fighting against King George III. Why couldn't we help France conquer King George III? Why the fuck didn't we help France defeat King George the fucking III? Why did we need to suck King George III's fucking dick? That made no sense, America. That's the kind of empire we should be. We should be like the French Empire. We should support, we should look at the situation on the ground, and if it looks like the revolutionaries have a chance to make a brand new country. Right now in Cameroon, you got the Anglophone region. You got a bunch of English-speaking Cameroonians who's clamoring for freedom. They're trying to push for independence. They got a 40-year dictator there. So if we're going to be a good empire, we would determine who the good people are. We would support the revolutionary movements, and we should get them the Constitution and the Bill of Rights and the rule of law and federalism and the bicameralism and the elections that we enjoy here. If we're to be a good empire. If we're going to be a shitty empire, a bunch of Nazi stormtroopers, and then we should just go into other countries and just smash them and destroy as many people as we possibly fucking can. Come on, America. We could do so much fucking better than this. The French Revolution didn't lose because the presidents of France need to be elected, and for the past 25 leaders of France have been presidents. Macron is a president, and they've had 25 presidents beforehand. They are not ruled by a king or a queen today. They don't have feudalism today. I'm not for sure what the state of the Catholic Church is, if they got state control over there, but I bet you they still got the Declaration of the Rights of Man as well. Don't tell me that the French Revolution failed. Don't you tell me that.